Hello, this is Mr. Jared, and in this video tutorial, I'm going to be 3D modeling this object in SolidWorks. So the first thing I'm going to see here is where my origin is located, and I can see that there's a little note that says it's located on the bottom, and I'm assuming that it's dead center on the bottom of this object. The second thing that I'm going to take note of are my units, and here I see that I'm in IPS. That's why I have a lot of decimal places. So now when I look close at this picture, I can see that it's actually displaying a half section view. That's why you can see on the inside of it. And it's revealing the inside so that you can see the counterbore hole, as I wrote here. It's actually a blind counterbore because it does not go all the way through. And you can see those measurements here. So there are a lot of different ways that you could possibly do this. You see the two video tutorials that I did for this part is one just using all revolve. This one is actually going to be using the revolve as a solid shape and then just using the hole wizard right here up on the top. Another way that you could do this is revolve the entire thing, and you could do two different circles and extrude cut them down. You could also revolve the entire thing and then do another sketch and actually revolve cut this inside piece instead of extrude cut. So there are a lot of different ways that you can do things, but in this video I'm going to show you how to just revolve it and then use the hole wizard. So I'm going to pull this to my other screen, and in SolidWorks I'm going to make a new part. I'm going to make sure my units are in IPS, which my computer defaults to, and I'm going to be sketching right on the front plane. So I'm going to use my line tool, and I'm going to go straight up the middle where I'm going to revolve this around. Draw across the top. This is out on an angle. Comes down here slightly on another angle, straight down at the bottom, and then back over to my origin. So before we move on to dimensioning, you do want to make sure that all of your lines here that should be horizontal or vertical are actually set to horizontal and vertical, or else your dimensions will just mess it up. So the overall height of this is actually 1.75. It says from this point down to the bottom, it is 1.5. This bottom piece is actually 0.25. Okay, and now I actually have to start setting my radiuses from the center out. So I can see on my actual drawing that there are several different diameters. You can see here, this is the diameter for that upper ring. There's the diameter for the inside, which we'll get to later on, and there's the diameter for the bottom. So since we are revolving this, and we're only drawing half, we're going to be dividing everything by 2. So if I select that bottom line, we are actually going to take that in half, and it says the diameter is 0.5. So we're just going to divide that by 2, which I'm sure you could have done in your head. That's 0.25. Now from here to this dot, it actually says it is 1.25. So we're going to divide that by 2. Probably weren't able to do that in your head, but if you're good with fractions, you know that this is just 5/8 now. Okay, so 5/8 is actually 0.625. Notice I changed my unit position to 3 decimal places so that you can see that. So everything is fully defined except this line up here. So that is actually at 15 degrees on our picture, and the degree is on the outside. So that means we can't use any of these vertical lines. So we're going to get the line tool and set this to a construction line and just draw from that dot straight up. And now we can dimension right in between. We'll make that 15 degrees. So now it's fully defined. So let's go over to our features tab and hit revolve. And this is a no-brainer, but we're going to be revolving right off of the center here. And green check. And now we have our solid shape. Now we can use the hole wizard to put the counterbore hole right up on top. Let's get your hole wizard tool. And we're going to select the first type here for counterbore. Since we are in inches, we want to make sure this says ANSI inch. And the type does matter actually here, because if you select a screw is always filed off at the end. A bolt, however, can come both ways. So we're going to make sure that we want this to be a hex bolt. Okay, when I say both ways, I mean pointed or flat. Now if we scroll down, the size and fit really don't matter. I'll just keep normal for the fit. Size doesn't matter because we're going to check that box that says show custom sizing. And if we start to read down through this, we can see the inside diameter is 0.375. The overall counterbore size is 0.875. The depth of that counterbore is 0.375. And we want a flat bottom, so the degrees is going to be 180. And then we go down here. If yours is set to through all, it'll be blank like this. You want to change yours to blind because it doesn't go all the way through. And I just noticed when I changed those, my actual degrees went away, which I've never seen before happen. So if yours is still there, make sure it does say 180, but I'm going to try this out without actually having that set. I'm guessing since we did select a hex bolt and we told it that it's not going all the way through, SOLIDWORKS kind of caught up for itself and figured out that, hey, it is going to be a flat bottom. Now, for the depth here, we're actually going to set this to 1.5 inches. And the reason is because if I look at this, I can see that that line, the bottom of the counterbore, is actually straight across from this point, and that point is up 1/4 inch. So the overall height is 1.75 minus 1/4 inch. That's what's going to give us this 1.5. If I go to the position tab in 3D Sketch, I can move my mouse right up on top, and sometimes if you're moving it around and you're lucky, center point will pop up. If yours does not pop up, just move your mouse over to the edge of this circle, and when you're on the edge of the circle, you see that center point pops up. Now we can lock it right onto that center point. We can hit the green check, and just to make sure that we have a flat bottom, if we hit the section view button up here, we can hit the green check there as well, and you can see that it is a flat bottom. So if you want to take it off of the section view, we can change our material. So you're going to have to edit the material. And it says that this is oak. So scroll all the way down to the woods, set it to oak, apply and close. And let's evaluate this and see if we got the right stuff. Now this is defaulted to 2 decimal places. On the document it says 4, so hit options, go to use custom settings and change this to 4. Make sure your length is set to inches here and hit OK. And you should get a mass of 0.0156. Our volume looks correct, our surface area looks correct, and so does our center of mass. So if you got this, you can save this and move on to the next one. If you didn't, please problem solve, figure out where you went wrong.